So explain to us what libertarian is.
I hear that all the time. Let me tell you what libertarian is. Libertarian is someone who says you can be as liberal or as conservative as you want to be. Just don't force others to be like you.
Got it.
That's what we are all about. We are all about long-term solutions, not short-term solutions. We're all about changing culture, not just changing law. Law, we have to remember something. At the end of almost every single law is a guy or a gal with a gun who will put you in a cage. And if you don't want to go in that cage, he or she is going to kill you. That means you only use law when it really matters, not just because I'm angry, not because I don't like you, not because you should do some activity I think you shouldn't do or whatever the case may be. It's only for important things like life and liberty and property and things like that. That's when you use violence. That's when you use force. That's what libertarians are all about. Welcome to Libertarians Drinking Coffee Live. So happy to have you here. It's a little bit past 3 p.m. on the East Coast. So happy that you are joining me this afternoon for a few minutes, a small chunk of your afternoon. I have with me today someone who I've met multiple times, someone who has hardcore trying to make things work and make things better. I'm so happy to have her with me. She is the former Libertarian US candidate for U.S. Senate, the one, the only from Hawaii, Feena Bonoan. How are you?
Hi, aloha. Thank you, Larry, for having me on. Yes, it has. I have met you a couple times. I remember last time I saw you in person, you were out here in Hawaii, and you said, I'm not going to have you on my show until you come to New York. Well, I'm not in New York. I'm still in Hawaii. So there we go.
You are super cool. I had to break my rules. That's how cool you are. That's the problem. That's it. I love it. Absolutely love it. So yes. So click that like button, guys, if you like what we're going to be talking about, which I know you will be. This is a great show. I'm very happy she's going to be here. And if you want to follow her, you can head over to Twitter and follow her on Feena Bonoan on Twitter, and you can see what she's doing and what's going on. So I have to ask you, right? There are many ways that people can support the Liberty Movement or support the Libertarian Party. You chose to run for Senate. That's not an easy task. Why'd you choose that?
I chose to run for U.S. Senate to defend our brand.
Ooh, okay.
To defend our brand. I am a lifetime member of the Libertarian Party in Hawaii and also nationally. I was raised Libertarian, and a lot of the reasons why I stuck around as a Libertarian are the reasons why our brand needs a lot of defending right now. So
okay.
the person that was going to run for U.S. Senate, like, he went out on Twitter and made comments about the reason why we need, you know, all the nice guns that we have in America, and even more, was to kill all the N-words. And that's not correct.
Not how most libertarians think. So I would agree with you on that. Yes.
Oh, and I was like, you know what? And he had already stole money from the party before on a previous occasion several years ago. And, you know, Hawaii is one of those states that, yeah, we have power as a party to say, no, they're not on our ticket. We can do that. But we can also, anyone can take out papers. Like, we had one candidate on the Big Island who took out papers at a lower level district, and they actually probably got the most libertarian traction in Hawaii because they went on the news and said that the only reason why they ran as a libertarian was so that their husband could get on the ballot, because the way that the criteria to be on the ballot in Hawaii is you have to, in the primary at least, right? You have to do better than the lowest number for the Republican or Democrat or Libertarian or Green Party.
So she was running to make sure she did poorly enough to support her husband,
who ran as an independent.
Wow. Okay. Wow. Wow. You got some problems over there in Hawaii. I see. You're trying to fix them. Okay.
Yeah, that was my goal, trying to fix them. So I wasn't cool with our party endorsing or having that brand of libertarianism that condones not even just condones, but just like is bigotry. I wasn't cool with that.
I'm glad you stepped up and made something happen. Good for you. So let me walk down that road then. Did you get the impact that you wanted to have more, or I should say wanted? That's not the right answer, the right question. Did you get the impact you expected? Maybe it's better, expected to have. Did you get more, less, or the same?
I did not get the impact I expected. I ran a really hard campaign in Hawaii. My grandmother died during COVID and left me a little bit of
sorry to hear that.
Not much. I come from a poor family, so like it was the sale of her house split 5 ways, you know. But it was a little bit of a chunk to get me started, right?
Okay.
And I also had I had like 3 donors that, you know, donated more than like, you know, $100, and that really made the campaign. And I thought that I worked so hard, and I thought that I was going to beat the Republican. I really did, because there were a lot of who's who in the Republican Party out here in Hawaii wanted me to get it.
Got it.
They could not come out and forthright endorse me as a libertarian. Right. But they would not endorse their Republican candidate. And that, Larry, is when I realized that people don't care about the issue. They don't care about the candidate.
Yep.
They care about the letter beside your name. And that is sad. And that's the way Hawaii is. I'm sure that's the way New York is. I know that's how it is in a lot of states. And that's when you have that aha moment where, like, wow, I see what everybody's talking about. Like, people are stupid nowadays. Yeah. Yeah, I get it. I used to have so much, faith in humankind that, no, we're not all stupid. But the reality is we're not. But there's a lot. And the vast majority of them, they are not move their part. They're not going to move from their letter.
Yes.
Party. They're not going to move from their letter. And so we're trying to grab from the ones that will move from the letter. Right. And that's not many. It's not enough in an election in Hawaii for sure. Not even. No.
Yeah. It's the issue why they're trying to break up the third party so much, because there are, I don't know how it works in Hawaii, but in New York now, we're also a very blue state. The Democrats are about 6.5 million registered voters, but non-affiliated is over 3 million and Republicans under 3 million. So there's less Republicans than non-affiliated in New York State. That is our people. We have to get the non-affiliated, those who haven't totally bought into the R or D, right, to the letter you're talking about. And it's not easy. I agree completely. Very hard. So
my race that I ran this round was really like the battle royale of parties. You know, I was the first person to pull papers for U.S. Senate. And so that gave a signal to all the parties in Hawaii that we're sending in our big guns, you know? Right. And like I've already told you why I did it. It's to protect our brand. But, that's one of those things that politics.
Yeah. Joe says 100% true. Voters only care about the letter next to the candidate's name on the ballot. So often, so true. And it's disappointing, right? Joe's right. It's disappointing because I want to believe that people are going to vote for the issues that matter to them. That's what I want to believe. And that is generally not true.
News on remember I told you it's the battle royale. So all the parties were represented in my race. That was the only race that the Green Party put a candidate in, the Republicans, Democrats, and of course the Libertarian Party were all in. And we also had Aloha Aina, which is a new up-and-coming party in Hawaii. So all the parties were there represented. And I maintained our third largest status, at least. So I beat the Greens. I beat the Aloha Aina. Yay! Nice. And yes. I do have to say, because of the way I campaigned in a very playing by the rules style, and not just.
What do you mean by that? Do you mean you knocked on doors like that? What do you mean by that?
No. So my husband's in the military. Mm-hmm. He's out to sea a lot. He's on deployment, you know, and we're not a big enough party to have people truly be like campaign coordinators or even.
No, it's so hard. Yep.
And to have, bodyguards. And let me tell you, I didn't meet one single Republican or Democrat candidate at any event, and I went to a lot of events that did not have their bodyguard,
Yep.
plus their campaign coordinator every time.
Yep.
And that was hard. And I took to, you know, paying people to come with me to places, especially when I was going off island. But
Yep.
So when the primary happened, I had like 700 votes in the primary. So I had a big come up. Like
Mm-hmm.
my vote count, like definitely multiplied a lot. And there were people that wanted to be on the ballot
Sure.
that did not get on the ballot that, you know, I had 700 votes.
Hold on. How does it work in Hawaii? How many do you have to get? What look?
I didn't have to get any. I was a libertarian candidate. I didn't have to do anything during the primary. I was on the ballot. All I had to do was beat
Nice.
the guy that said the N-word on Twitter, which he didn't even turn in his papers, probably because he couldn't get anyone to sign his papers. Just saying.
There we go. I like that. That's good.
Yeah.
But I get your point tremendously. When I ran in New York in 2018, I didn't have to get ballot access really. I mean, ballot access was relatively easy for me in 2018.
Mhm.
So I could take all the money that I raised and put it into people to be around me. I had a team around me all the time when I campaigned. And when I was in areas that I was concerned, we had a couple of death threats in 2018, not many. And we thought two were credible. None were actually credible. So I don't want to act like people trying to kill me.
Yeah. Right. Well,
But
here's
we
the
had
thing.
threats, but most of them were not credible. We thought a couple were. And the ones that we thought were credible, many times we would use local militia to actually run security at our events.
We
So
don't have that. I did pal up with the gun rights guys, really nice.
Yep.
Even before my campaign. But the thing is I ran in 2020 for state senate,
Mhm.
and that grinded a lot of gears too. And so I had threats from 2020 coming
Yep.
into 2022. And I am, yeah. So that was it. That was that.
So I'm glad that you ran that kind of. I'm glad you ran that kind of campaign because that's the example to others, right? So let me
Right.
grab another comment. Anthony says, "I wish people cared more about the individual within the political party the way they do for libertarians, because then it would be harder for the big two, as it is for everyone else." I agree. Our libertarians care more about the individual running than the two big parties, right?
Mhm.
Two big parties don't care. The person can be anything. The person can literally be screaming the N-word from the top of a building every day. And they'll be like, well, he's got a D by his name, so I guess I'll vote for him. They won't
Yeah.
even care.
They do not care. They do not care. So let me tell you how much they do not
The
care.
Republican here in New York, you might have heard that story, the guy Santos, he lied about everything, and he's still a congressman. And Republicans are like, whatevs. He beat a Democrat. That's all that matters.
The Republican out here in Hawaii, they didn't win. Obviously, they did not win. But I really thought I was going to beat the Republican. And let me tell you why. Because he was an incumbent. He'd sat through COVID and did nothing. He allowed the poisoning of water out here by the military that we've known about for over 10 years and did nothing.
Wow.
Anything on gun rights? Silence. So on all these like core issues that Republicans really care about, especially this past election, he wasn't there. They didn't. But the thing is, they wanted to vote Republican. They wanted to vote Republican.
Yep.
Now, Brian Schatz, on the other hand, who won, Democrat, I knew that was a tough order. For one thing, he's one of the younger people in the Senate. He does bring in the money. He's a money guy. And he is so entrenched in the political mafia out here. You know,
I wish the money didn't matter so much, but I get it. Everybody wants the money. This is a massive grift. I say it all the time. Yes, it's a massive grift.
Yeah,
You're right.
and Hawaii likes people that give them money. That's the reality. I mean, they do. They appreciate that.
Well,
I get it.
speaking of that,
Give me money.
I want to shift into something that I think a lot of the audience won't know about, which you focused on, which I talk about whenever I can, but it doesn't come up as much. And that's the Jones Act.
Oh, the Jones Act.
Yes, a lot of people don't even know what it is, have no idea how it works, but it affects me because of Puerto Rico, right? Puerto Rico has a similar issue with the Jones Act, similar to Hawaii. And there's a huge population of Puerto Rican people who live in New York City and New York State. So in that regard, the Jones Act does affect us, but nowhere near to the level as Hawaii. Please talk to people about the Jones Act.
So the Jones Act is over 100-year maritime law. It's over 100 years old. And it was originally made so that the shipbuilders in America could ensure job security. And not just shipbuilders, but also sailors too. And I'm a former sailor. I was in the Navy for 10 years. I understand it. However, somewhere like Hawaii, where we're an island state, also Alaska,
Puerto Rico,
Puerto Rico, it affects us a lot more because we are part of the United States. So what it is, they have, of course, the ships need to be made in America. They need to be crewed by Americans. And they have to be owned by Americans and fly the American flag. That's the Jones Act right there. Now, here's the part that really gets Hawaii, Puerto Rico, and Alaska is that you can't go from one city to another city in America unless you are compliant with all that. So we know that we get a lot of imports from China. We get a lot of imports from the Philippines and all over the world, right? But in order for that ship cannot go from Hawaii, which they pass right by, and then go to California, which their big load is at. They can't do a small load in Hawaii on their way to California to do a big load. They can only do one. And so all of our stuff goes to California because that's the big load. And then it comes to Hawaii on a Jones Act ship. So that continuous transit, that's the one that really gets us more than anything else. I was talking to Joe Kent, who works with the Grassroots Institute. He's also a libertarian. And I had this one debate in Maui, and of course they wanted to know about the Jones Act because it does, as much as it's one of those things that people don't know a lot about. They hear about it and they're curious about it because you hear somebody saying in the Jones Act, they want to know why. And so when I was talking to the Grassroots Institute guy, I asked him, I said, listen, I know that, of course, we want all of it repealed, but the reality is I understand the need for national security. I understand the idea of we like our jobs. I get that. And so where compromise happens is when people come together in the middle. So what's the two biggest things? If I can only get rid of two things on the Jones Act, what would it be?
Okay, what would it be?
Is the continuous United States part, where you can't go from, at least you should be able to at least go to 2 or 3 ports. You can't, just one port is not enough. For the whole Western seaboard, the whole Eastern seaboard, you can only go to 1 port, right? So that's one. The second one is the ships being built in America. America doesn't build as many ships as they used to.
Not as much at all. Yep.
Nope. And it's just like a car. Why do we have this extra stipulation on ships over cars? If I can get a Toyota, why can't I get a ship that's made in France or a ship
or South Korea?
South Korea. Well, there's lots of places that make ships. America's not number 1 in ships.
Correct.
We're not going to be number 1 in ships. That's like
never.
Old.
No. Yep.
Yeah. So that
only ships we make that are impressive is we make large naval ships. That's about it.
We have some great naval ships. I will say that.
Yes,
and
that we make. That's about it.
Other countries buy our naval ships, and so we do have, people are buying our naval ships. We've specialized in military excellence.
Absolutely.
And profit from it. Sure, let's go. Let's do it. But yeah.
So I guess what most people don't understand is now what that means is for an island island chain like Hawaii or even Alaska has a chain of islands, Puerto Rico, you're absolutely increasing the price on all the goods and the cost of living of every single person who lives there for no reason. And there's already going to be an increased cost of living no matter what, because islands, right, by default. Now you've just made it even worse.
Right. So, and it's on every single thing. It's not just what comes in regularly, right? It's on building supplies that people don't think about. It's on technology that you need. It's, the biggest spotlight that came on the Jones Act was COVID. the supply
Yes,
Like,
absolutely.
Hawaii was hurting for toilet paper way longer than everybody else.
There we go. There we go. Yes. There we go.
When minutes and hours and seconds count, like there's a ship going from, Japan or something going to California with needed medical supplies. It's got to go to California because that's where the big load is, right?
Right. And then we had that big backlog in Long Beach anyway. So now that screwed you guys over even more.
Yes. Yes, it did. So
Absolutely.
That's the Jones Act in a nutshell. And I'm one of those candidates that I explain to people too. When you go to the negotiation table, you don't ask for what you're willing to walk away with. You ask for more than what you're willing to walk away with, because that's where your compromise comes from. Because they're going to come back no matter what, say this isn't, we can't do that. Well, then that's when you can give a little. When you give yourself room to be able to negotiate. Like, I feel very comfortable taking some very extreme stances because I know that it's just going to get negotiated. I'm not a stupid person. Unless I'm willing to like raise an army and all that crap, we're going to negotiate. And I'm an anti-war person. So
the sanguine, so I said right, Sofrosine says, Peter Zian taught me about the Jones Act. There we go. He goes on to say, we don't even make kayaks. Look at that. We don't make much. There we go. The Scientific Libertarian says, holy ship. It's kind of cute. I like that. Yes. Dave says, we make naval ships and yachts. We don't make very many merchant ships. Also very true. Yeah, absolutely very true. A lot of that's very true. So let me move to another piece if I could. You have spoken against the drug war. Your idea is no victim, no crime, right? There we go. Perfect. Yes, there we go. As most libertarians would agree with you completely on that. But is it because it's a personal issue for you? Is there a bigger problem in Hawaii that around you, or I mean, you focused on that being one of your things. Is it personal or something happening in Hawaii, or it's just how you feel?
It is all the above. It's Festivus. Let me tell you, it's Festivus, a holiday for the rest of us. Let me tell you about this. This is federal. Okay. This is medical marijuana, right? I am a veteran that's allowed to have medical marijuana, and it doesn't matter what the fuck I use it for, if it's for pain or whatever. That takes away my Second Amendment rights. It puts you on a database where they can trace you and track you, and you have a shall not issue declaration against you if you ever try to get a weapon.
Yep. And
as a veteran, that really that it's not just about the ego that it kills, but it definitely hurts the ego.
Of course it does. Yes.
Idea of like, I can't defend myself. I can't protect myself. I spent 10 years defending others.
Yep.
And now I'm not even allowed to touch a gun. I'm the person you want in the crowd that's carrying.
That's correct.
Person. You want that person carrying. You want that same person that's maybe a little chilled out from smoking weed too.
Right.
Pull things down a minute. Oh, let me get my. Oh, here we go.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
You want somebody thinking about the situation. And we've done a trick to these veterans, including me, where we say, yes, you can help yourself get better and get off opioids. Some people, they turn to marijuana from opioids.
Yes.
Which is worse, but if I was on opioids,
people always say that
I could get a gun on opioids. If I had a prescription for opioids, no problem. But is that who you really want fucking having a gun?
No. I'm with you. But look, the reality of it is people will tell you that cannabis is an entry drug, but it's an exit drug.
Yeah.
Right. It's an exit drug. It's a way to get people off of other drugs that are going to hurt them far worse.
And the Democrats, let me tell you, the Democrats don't do any better with it.
No, I agree.
So my mother was denied food stamps when we were kids. She had 3 kids and she worked as a waitress making $2.13 an hour in North Carolina plus tips. What kind of tips you get in North Carolina? Not the best. You're barely making ends meet and you got 3 kids and you can't get food stamps. Tell me why. Because she smoked marijuana. That's why.
Wow.
That's a blue thing. That's a Democrat thing. That's a Democrat program. And I guess I'm one of those people that, Larry, I think we all are shades of libertarian. Every single person is.
I'd agree with that.
Of course, I've got a lot of yellow in me, and I do have some blue in me. And let me tell you where my blue is. We are such a rich and prosperous country, and we already give so many farm subsidies. There is no reason why anyone should be going hungry in America.
Agreed. And you know, when socialists come on my show and sometimes say, Larry, how come we can't pay for X, Y, and Z? I have a hard time telling them you can't when we can give whatever X billions of dollars to the farm industry, to Ukraine, to foreign aid, to the banks, to insert thing we give money to. We give tons of money to all types of things, right? We bail out industries. We've got money for so much, but then when someone says, "Can I have some food?" Yeah, no, I don't want to give you. We don't have money for that. Right. It's hard for me to have that answer, right? If I can show a way of getting rid of it all, at least I would then be on a intellectual level of being, fair. If I could go there, right? But we're giving money away to everybody, so right. I'm with you.
Yeah. So one of the good things Hawaii did way worse than everyone else during COVID. They did dumb shit. So much dumb shit. I'm talking buying cops 4-wheelers to go arrest people on the beach with CARES money, dumb shit, Yes. But one good thing that we did, one smart thing, almost smart thing that they did. I say almost because what they did was they gave a restaurant pass. Like, I think it was like $300 to people who were out of work or taking benefits already. So here's a restaurant. So that stimulates the restaurant industry.
Yep.
And it feeds people. And it was like you could go anywhere and, whatever, and my gripe with it was they should have gave that to everyone because everyone paid into it. Everyone should get it. And it blesses not only, the lower level restaurants that, people are going to try to get more meals out of, but it also helps the restaurants that, like, we've got some places out here in Hawaii. Oh my gosh. $700 a meal kind of ticket, right?
I live in New York City.
People fucking work there.
Yes.
Those people that work there,
yes.
and they've got I bet they went out of business, or if they didn't go out of business, I don't know. Like,
New York City is the city of $100 lunch.
Yeah.
I totally get it. Absolutely. So Patty says, love this smart, activated, gorgeous, strong woman. Would love to have a can of drink and talk with her. Look at that. You got fans.
Thank you.
I like that. There we go. Jocelyn says, highly disrespectful to deny a veteran their Second Amendment rights for possessing plant material. Wow.
That's right.
Yes, absolutely. Yes. Joel says, I don't like the medical marijuana game. Just legalize and deregulate it. Like onions, what I've been saying before. Yes, absolutely. Yes, absolutely.
So that was my one endorsement I got was from Normal in 2020. I got one endorsement was from Normal, and that's because I answered their questionnaire saying that I wanted marijuana sold at farmers markets next to the rosemary. It's an herb.
There we go. I like it. Scientific Libertarian says tens of thousands of Americans die from heroin every year. A total of 0 people have ever died from safe usage sites. Yes, and yes. So I guess then let me ask another question if I could. What's next? What do you see as next for you, right? You've run more than once. People do know who you are. You've obviously got Republicans, in your ear, probably trying to get you to become a Republican, I would guess. I mean, I'm assuming they're trying to do that kind of stuff.
They can smell a good candidate just as well as a libertarian can.
Yep. So what's next for you?
Well, Larry, you know how it is to be in the military. You go where you're told to go, when you're told to go there.
Yep.
My husband got orders to Florida. And so
there we go.
Yeah. And I'm actually I'm starting to get excited about it because to me that Florida's wide open. It's a bigger party too out there with the Libertarian Party. Or I've got, and the thing is I've got friends out there. I've got family out there. I was born in Florida.
Oh, I didn't know that. I knew you. Okay. Yes. Look at that. Look at that.
Yeah. So it's kind of maybe this is a better spot for me to excel. I'm still going to speak aloha on my lips. I will always cherish and know my time in Hawaii was special. I've always felt like I'm meant to be in Hawaii, that I'm a part of Hawaii.
How many years have you been in Hawaii?
I've been here for 10 years.
Wow, there we go. Okay. It's a big chunk of your life.
Yeah. Now he has put in a special request to try to stay here, but it's the military. Like I said,
Yeah.
you go when yeah, it's
Yeah. You don't, those special requests are nice, but they rarely come through.
yeah.
They rarely come
Yeah,
through. I mean, maybe, you never know, but yeah, probably not. Yes,
yeah.
absolutely. I don't see that. So well, how long is that tour going to be in Florida, you know?
At least 3 years.
Okay. How much time does he have left in is he in the Navy?
He's in the Navy. He has three more years to retire. But if he wants, the thing is, if he wants to come back out here to Hawaii, which he does, because he spent most of his time here in Hawaii as a duty station, that you never hear that. But
Right.
he was born and raised here. So he's kind of got ties.
Wow.
And this is where he wants to kind of branch off after the Navy, you know, going into contractor work and whatnot. So
good for you. That's great. That libertarian lady says, what part of Florida?
Jacksonville.
There we go. Jacksonville it is. You now know. So good for you. The Florida Libertarian Party is very active. So that you'll have stuff to do if you want to stay active in the party.
I've already contacted the party chair, and I reached out to DL Cummings, who's in Jacksonville as well. And you know, they're excited that I'm coming out. So
there we go. I love it. That's good for you. That's good news.
Yeah, it is good news. And I don't know if I'm gonna take a break from running, because I don't know if I want to continue being a candidate.
But you've learned so much. You could help somebody run. I mean, you've been through so much. You could really say, look, I played this game. Let me show you how this is done, what I did, what failed, what worked, all those things. I love the idea of someone like you being able to be like a mentor almost and saying, hey, let me show you.
Like, I would love, okay, so if Chase Oliver decides, he's already announced that he's going to try to run for president, right?
No, he's only at the moment done an exploratory committee. He has not said he's running. Officially, that I remember, there are a bunch of libertarians running, but those who have kind of raised some money. Lars Mapstead has said he is running, has raised money. So has Mike Termat. He also has raised money and is actively running. There's a couple more, but those are probably two the biggest ones right now who've raised a bunch of money. Right. They both raised over 6 figures, and they are now running.
Wow, I didn't realize that. I didn't realize they were. See, money matters even to libertarians.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does. 100%.
So, anyways, but I thought maybe it would be fun to tag along on a presidential campaign, and
love the idea.
Like, I think I would have fun with Chase Oliver.
Chase would be a great candidate if he decides to do so.
Yeah, I'm really glad that he got the recognition that he got. I'm glad that he got the spotlight that he got. I knew it from the beginning. I remember he was down the dumps for a little bit, and I was like, listen, bro, we're both doing this. We're doing this. And when we do it and we finally fucking win, or even just this year alone, getting traction.
Yes, absolutely.
One of us. It's going to be several of us going in. Like this year, it wasn't just about, one of our senatorial candidates. We had a lot of great senatorial candidates.
We made a little bit there. We did make some impact this year, and I'm hoping we can make a lot more in 2024.
Yeah, but the thing is, people talking about us. Unfortunately, they talk too much about our shitty candidates and not enough about our good candidates. But that's another story, Larry. Let's have some coffee.
Well, I'm also happy that they're actually calling us names and such, which is good, because that means we matter, right? The amount of time and money they're putting against us is helping, particularly Republicans. Republicans are really hammering us hard this year. They've been very bad to us. They have done hit pieces on us from PragerU, Daily Wire. Also, they literally spent tens of thousands of dollars suing me off the ballot and many others. Republicans have been very harsh.
Okay, so I think Republicans look at libertarians as the Republicans they wish they had.
Yes, you're completely correct. Mm-hmm. They try to get me to run Republican every year here in New York. Republicans always come to me every year with me to run as Republican. I'm like, I can lose on my own, guys. Thank you. I've got that one down.
Right.
I don't need your help to lose. I can do that all by myself. Not required.
Like, here I am, like, I'm hoping I win against the Republican. I know the Democrat's going to win, but could you imagine being the Republican and being like, all right, I know I'm gonna lose.
Right, exactly. Yes.
And I'm gonna have a whole lot of people blowing smoke up my ass telling me I can do it, right?
Exactly. Yes. Or worse, I now have to lie to the public and act like I know I can win, even though I can't. That's the worst part. Yes, absolutely. So
Like,
anyway, let me ask you now,
go
right?
ahead.
Is there anything that I should have brought up that I didn't? Did I miss something?
Oh, I don't know, Larry. It's just coffee with libertarian candidates right now, right?
That's what it is. So if you want to follow Feena, please do so. Head over to Twitter at Feena Bonoan right there. And the bottom's also in the description. And if you like what you're seeing, click that like button. Let people know that you're seeing it, right? And if you're on Twitter, you can always retweet this on Twitter if you want to. You can retweet it. People can see what's going on. We would like all of those things if possible. Well, Feena, I want to say thanks for coming out. This was great to have a chat. I appreciate it.
Oh, I do have an article out just recently.
Oh, tell me.
It's by Libertarians Who Make Art, which I love that whole idea of just promoting libertarianism in the art industry. And so I am a filmmaker. That's what I went to school for. And I got an article out, so check it out. It's on my Facebook page. I really do Facebook more than Twitter. I know it's old people stuff.
Okay.
But I don't know. I think Twitter's kind of, I don't know. I never really got into it. Maybe that was like, just like that. Just missed it. And don't care to add it in my life. Not, I do it like broccoli, but then again, I like
broccoli. I like that. Libertarian Lady says, you're sassy and I like it. We need sassy people behind the scenes. Jocelyn says, I ran for office twice and now only work for others' campaigns. I prefer this. Good luck. Well, some people are behind you already. There we go.
Right. So I do have this criteria about working for somebody. I want to get paid, but I can't just back anybody.
Sure.
Like I'm not going to back somebody that
not a mercenary.
I'm not going to back whoever just for the.
I get you. Well, but not just that. The advantage you have being in the Libertarian Party is we're so small. There isn't enough talent for all the people that need talent. It doesn't exist. The party's too small. If you're a Republican, you can get a Republican strategist. You can throw a rock in most states and it'll bounce 6 times and hit one Republican strategist. In New York City, 5 times hits Democratic strategist, right? So you'll find strategists and people who are going to campaign in the 2 major parties all day long. But to get someone who understands third-party politics, who understands libertarian politics, to work in a campaign, you're a whole lot harder to find, which means you will be able to pick and choose a whole lot more than if you were a Republican or Democrat. It's a big advantage.
Oh, I've been thinking about strategy too a lot with this presidential campaign coming up. When I say strategy, like us as a party, and what kind of leaders are we getting, and how are they going to further our brand? What are we going to do with this? Like I'm at this moment, maybe Larry, you can help me with this. I'm going to ask you a question. How did we get Gary Johnson? How did we get him? Like he was a good candidate. I
wish he'd run again.
Pull him from the Republicans. Do we just
he
need to
brought
go
me in
candidates?
I believe it or not, people always joke. They go, "Oh, who did Gary Johnson bring in?" I go, "Me." Literally, I came in because of Gary Johnson. In 2012, when he ran, is when I became Libertarian. I've been in the party 10 years because of Gary Johnson. If it wasn't him, I wouldn't have come in. Yeah. I couldn't hear anybody else. And I still love the governor. If he ran, I'd back him again. I don't care. I'd back him again if he ran.
You know what I think we need as a party? Of course, I think we need art. I'm on record for saying that because I believe it with my whole heart and like my super blue heart that I have sometimes. That I love hearts and feelies and stuff like that, right? But what we need we need more veterans. We need more veterans. We need more people that pulled themselves up from the bootstraps, that know how the federal government works. They understand, and they're smart. And they're not afraid.
Yes.
They're not afraid to go charging. And when I say charging, I mean just running for it, going full speed. We have if we get more veteran candidates, like William Henry, he was good. And I think
here's what I would say, my view on this. When it comes to the top of the ticket, meaning a presidential candidate, I think more than anything, we need someone who's popular. Local candidates, we need veterans. Now, if we get a popular veteran at the top of the ticket, that's amazing. But popularity, because the goal of the presidential candidate, I don't look. Of course, I hope we win in 2024. Of course, I do. I'm just being realistic. We're probably not going to win, right? That's just reality. But can we get someone who is popular enough to get attention so that all the local candidates can gain from that popularity or from that press? That's why I think top of the ticket popularity is critical. Bottom of the ticket, veterans are critical.
Here's a good one. A popular president and a veteran VP. Now,
that works.
Yeah, because that, the veteran as the VP, you're in charge of the Senate. You're running shit. They actually have a little bit more like organization and things they have to consider. Whereas the president, what do we really want in a president? We want somebody that's nice and goes and shakes hands with other people, that's not going to cause or start a war, not going to do dumb shit on Twitter, is going to say nice things to our kids that they can recite when they're older. That's what we really want as a president. I like that example is what we want as a president.
I like that. Someone is bugging me saying, I forgot to tell people to like, comment, share, and do the world's smallest political quiz. Hold on, guys, be very clear. This is not the Sharp Way Show. This is Libertarians Drinking Coffee Live. So the Sharp Way Show is separate. I bug you to do things for the Sharp Way Show. This is for libertarians, about libertarians, with libertarians. This is all about the person in front of me. This is all about Feena. So I don't promote myself at all in this show whenever we do Libertarians Drinking Coffee Live. If you haven't noticed, it is a different brand. It is gold with a blue minor versus Sharp Way being blue with a gold minor. Sharp Way is about me, and it has my name Sharp Way in it. So yes, my name's in it. This is not about me. Thank you for saying that. This is about the libertarian who's in front of me, and right now that's Feena. So I'm promoting her and her only. You see her Twitter account right there. I talk about how wonderful she is because she is wonderful. That's why I say it. This show is not about me. That's why I'm not pumping my stuff. People who know me from Sharp Way, I often pump my own stuff in Sharp Way, which is true.
But you just pumped your own stuff, technically, because you just mentioned it. Yeah, of course you did.
But, okay, I mentioned it.
Go to what's your website, baby?
I'm not saying it. See, I'm not. That's not here. I'm saying don't go to my website.
LarrySharp.com. I don't know.
Go to Feena Bonoan. Do that. That's what I'm telling you to do. Do that. That's far more important today. Let's work on that. That's what really matters. That's
if you really want to know more about us, I bet you they could Google us and find all the information. Let's just
absolutely
Google. Fuck it. I don't know.
I love it. 100%. Google us all. I love it. Oh, good. So yes. Yeah. Anyway, wonderful conversation. Thank you so much for coming on. Everybody else, thank you so much for watching. And I'll be on again tonight at 7 p.m. No, 8 p.m. tonight. I'll be on tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern, tomorrow at 7 p.m. So I'm still rocking and rolling. I will see